Chris here with the Driving Fix. I have Michael. Michael, thanks for taking time.
Absolutely, thank you.
Yeah, I was drawn to this car because it's beautiful. And as I walked around it, I noticed you had a storyboard in the back. And then I walked around and I thought, no, I can see the story of this car. This is an original car.
It is. Yeah.
What is it?
It's a 1956 Corvette. There's
Okay.
48,000 original miles on it. And it's kind of unique in and of itself. It was special ordered in '56 by a racing enthusiast, Harold Pullman. He special ordered this car with a high-performance camshaft, known today as the Duntov Cam. So this is a 265 with two 4-barrels and a high-lift camshaft that boosts the horsepower from 225 to 240, which in 1956 was...
Back in the day, yeah.
Yeah. In fact, several years ago, a buddy of mine was looking for a jet ski for his daughter, and it had 300 horsepower. This only had 240.
So tell me the story about this car. So he did that, and then what?
So Harold parked this car in 1983. In fact, there's a sticker on the window, Jennings. That's the last time he had it registered for legal driving. I've got every state inspection from 1970 to 1983, 84 actually, when he never drove it again.
Yeah.
Harold was an interesting guy. He got into all kinds of other things. Subsequently, unfortunately, he passed away. Another gentleman by the name of Bob Coons, who's known as the carburetor guy, heard about the car, petitioned the court because it was an estate, and he bought the entire estate to get the car.
All right.
And then the bank handed him all this paperwork, which was the provenance, the order sheet, the sales invoice, the state inspections, the proverbial spiral notebook where Harold took notes on everything he did. Yeah. So fast forward to 2017, the fall of 17, I was traveling for business. My credit card was compromised. I called the bank to spell they asked me to spell my mother's maiden name, which I screwed up. Okay, this is the best part of the story.
Yeah, your mom doesn't know.
I'm sitting, she knows.
Oh no.
I'm sitting at my kitchen counter and I got to call them back, and I think, I'm going to Google my grandfather. So I do.
Yeah.
And I find this article in Super Chevy magazine that was printed in the fall of 16, and this is fall of 17. And I'm thinking to myself, what does this have to do with Paul Lewis, my grandfather?
Yeah.
Well, as I'm scrolling through the article, I see the sales invoice with his signature. I see, the order sheet with his handwriting. And I thought, oh my Lord, this is my grandfather's car dealership. So the very next day, and on lunch break, I Googled Bob Coons.
Yeah.
And I called Bob Coons. I said, Bob, I'd love to see the car. My grandfather sold that car. I'd love to see the paperwork. My mother used to type out those invoices when she was a kid. She'd be tickled to see one.
Yeah.
So Bob and I got together. He's now 85, I guess. So this was 7-8 years ago.
Okay.
We drove around in the Corvette. We had a great conversation. Bob's a super nice guy. He told me then that I needed to buy the Corvette, and I told him, Bob, I've got a 57 Chevy in the garage.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for a Corvette. I don't know what you're asking. I probably can't afford it.
Yeah.
So we walked away. We parted, and we stayed in touch for about 30 days. And during that time, everybody in my life said, you gotta buy the car.
Yeah.
So I called Bob up, and we negotiated a deal, and I bought the car in, it was November of 2017. It was a cold winter day. I drove it all the way from Fenton, all the way up 141 to the house in St. Peter's, and I was
all original. Brakes and everything.
Well, mechanically, Bob came in and refurbished everything. So new fan belts, new brakes, new hoses, everything he took off the car.
What you would do to a car to keep it going?
Yeah.
All right.
But everything I still have everything. So Bob kept everything too. So I got boxes of spare parts.
That's super cool. That is super cool. So you had the car, and you probably continued to learn more about this car as you owned it, right?
I did. In fact, shortly after I bought it, I joined the National Corvette Restoration Society to kind of edify myself on Corvettes in general.
Yeah, because you have such a great Corvette, you have to join the club.
Yeah, and it's been wondrous. I've taken it to several different regional and national shows with the NCRS. Usually I keep it local. I'd love to show the car more, but it's logistics, and time.
Yeah.
So on a pretty day like today, I just bring it out. And today, of all days, I actually was going for a bike ride, and I saw all these cars coming in.
Yeah.
So I went back to the house and got this.
Serendipitous.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's meant to happen.
Absolutely. Chevy doubled down because Ford was coming out with a Thunderbird. They came out with a new redesigned look This is 56 is the same as 57. They look identical.
Yep.
57, of course, they had the 283 with the fuel injection.
Okay.
56, they had the 265.
Okay.
So Harold was quite the enthusiast, and as you can see, he kept meticulous care of it. He stopped driving it in 1984, of all things, and just parked it and went on to other things. He started getting involved in planes, collected guns. Very eclectic guy. So this car sat from 1984 until about 2015.
Okay.
So in 1956, they made 3,624 Corvettes.
Okay.
The interesting thing about the racing engine that we talked about, the engineer Duntov, in those days, GM was getting ready to scrap the Corvette. 53, 4, and 5 were terrible sales. They weren't competitive in the racing side.
Yep.
So Duntov somehow convinced GM Chevy to double down, and he produced the 265 with this high lift camshaft. We mentioned that. It boosted the horsepower to 240.
Cool.
Started winning races at Sebring. I think at a 55 passenger, they won the Pikes Peak race. So they kind of retooled and redesigned the look of the Corvette, threw this competitive engine in it. Well, Harold was shrewd enough in 56 to know what was going on. I don't know how. He lived in Jennings, not too far from the St. Louis Corvette plant.
Yep.
So he ordered this thing with the racing engine. So they only made 111 with this particular racing configuration. And of that, there's only a handful out there. I don't know this to be certain, but this is the only one that has paperwork.
Yeah.
So it's one of 111.
One of one.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
So as we look around, it's got obviously some patina, right?
Yep.
Harold was meticulous. I'm sure he took really good care of it in the day, but it sat for quite a while.
And what's this color? Do we know?
This is called Polo White.
Polo White. Beautiful.
And the interior is Venetian red.
Venetian red. Cool.
There's a crack in the windshield over here, but that goes with the story too. And that's the sad part of the story. Harold was a gun collector. He lived in what turned into a deteriorating neighborhood.
Yep.
And he was well into his 80s when some folks broke in to steal his gun collection. And they beat him up pretty bad. He ended up in a nursing home, and the estate was sold to help pay for all that.
Oh no.
I say all that to mention that this is a bullet wound in the windshield. It's from the inside, and we suspect it was Harold had a handgun that just went off one day.
Yeah.
We don't think it was nefarious.
Right.
But people say, "Oh, you got to replace that," and I'm like,
No.
it's original to the car.
And and you have the story as to why.
Well,
it's not,
Harold.
It's not a rock chip.
Harold, I wish I have a booklet with all kinds of pictures. This is Harold's hat. He had a very small head, right? But I got several pictures where he looks like a gangster. Okay. So this thing is brilliant.
It's brilliant.
Just part of the story.
Yeah, yeah.
So I will never change that.
No, don't.
As I mentioned, it's a hardtop convertible, so this comes off. There is a soft top underneath it.
Yep.
Let's see, what else can I tell you?
Tell me about these wheels. Like, what's the story about these? These are all stock, orange rim. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah. So
cool.
the original manufacturing, whatever the body color. This is a choice of whoever bought the car. So, so the interior colors, the exterior colors, the cove, right, the hard top. You can choose whatever you wanted.
Right.
Typically, white came with a silver cove.
Yeah. Okay.
So this typically matches the interior.
All right. Okay. That's cool.
So Harold, uniquely enough, got white. So he's got white on white.
Just want a white on white.
Which is fascinating because, I think it was saving money, to be honest with you.
He just cared about performance, probably.
He did. Because most of the options in 56 that people bought were a radio.
Bling. Yeah.
Well, a radio.
Yeah.
Okay. And the power top for the soft top.
Oh,
so this has got a soft top under the back deck.
Yeah.
So in the trunk in 56, they had a power mechanism.
Okay.
Well, Harold decided not to get that. You can see on the dash that little block plate.
Yes.
It's called a radio delete.
Oh, yeah.
So he spent his money, instead of on the two-tone paint and the power top and the radio, he bought the 2 4-barrels and the high lift camshaft.
I love it.
So he knew what he was doing.
Yeah,
right?
That's a car enthusiast.
And so then
that's very cool.
He then came out and put traction bars on the back, and there's a fire extinguisher underneath the passenger dash, which tells me one thing. Harold raced this car.
He raced this car.
And we've got no documentation of that, but obviously he was a racing enthusiast. We've got newspaper clippings from Daytona, from Pikes Peak, from the Salt Flats that he kept, and we've got pictures of him down in Florida, not with the Corvette, prior to that.
Yeah.
But he knew. and so he bought a racehorse, is what he did.
That's awesome.
Back to the options.
Yeah.
The hard top was an option. So they all came with a soft top, which is underneath this guy right here.
Okay.
This was a extra, and Harold bought that.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of what other...
Cold days. He wanted to race it in the winter.
Perhaps, yeah. You know, we go back to the parts. I've got all 4 original tires. The spare tire is original, and I say original, period correct.
Yeah.
2 of the tires we think are original. 2 of the tires we think were replaced.
Yeah.
Obviously, the back tires were
Yep.
the ones that we think were replaced,
Yep.
but the
Yep.
front tires look to be original. Not these particular tires,
Yep.
but the ones that
came
yeah.
with it. Yeah. Can we take a look under
Yeah, yeah.
under the hood?
Yeah, by all means.
Where do you pop that thing at?
It is right underneath the dash here.
Does it stand up on its own?
It sure does.
So you just give it a... Oh,
Just
there
give
it is.
A little...
There we go.
The interesting thing about the Duntov Cam
Yeah.
is called option code 449. And
Okay.
what I learned is that, because I didn't know any of this, okay, but what I learned is there's an engine stamp pad that has numerical value on it that corresponds to the engine configuration. So in this case, this suffix on the engine stamp pad ends in a GU, which designates that this particular 265 has the high lift camshaft. Now, what I've learned is that you can fabricate those and forge those engine stamp pads. I haven't seen one of those, but there are people that do it. Any restoration project, there's ways to fiddle. Right?
Yeah.
And of course, from a comparable standpoint, I've kept up with the Mecum auctions and the Barrett Jacksons and all the different car shows, and I've learned that there are a handful of the 111 original 1956 Duntov Cams with the engine stamp pad correct. The thing that really surprised me is Joe Calcano out in California, who owns a company called Rare Corvettes. He told me, he's in his 80s, he's been doing this his whole life. He told me this is the only 1956 that has paperwork that substantiates the engine stamp pad. Now, I don't know that to be a fact, but I certainly appreciate that Harold kept everything intact.
It's rare that you get somebody like Harold.
Yeah.
That is so meticulous that,
Well, and my understanding too is of the 111 that were manufactured, again, 3,624 Corvettes were made in 56. 111 came with this particular engine. Of those, my understanding is most were not sold to the general public. Most were given to the racing, like the Dale Earnhardts of the day.
Right.
The proving ground.
Yeah.
Right? Now, a handful were sold to the public, Harold being one of those rare people that bought one. So yeah, it's a gem, and it was found in Jennings, Missouri. He ordered it from Mascoutah, Illinois.
Yeah.
That's a mystery, other than the fact that my grandfather, before he had the opportunity to buy the dealership, he grew up in Jennings.
Yeah.
So we think maybe there was a relationship, or somebody knew somebody.
Small town.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have friends.
Because
somebody's working at the plant.
It's a little bit ironic that Harold lives a stone's throw from the plant, and
knows.
yet he goes to Illinois to buy the car.
Yeah.
So-
Well, maybe you got a better deal over there. I have
Could
some
be.
friends that do that now. But
Could be.
I tell you what, I remember when that Corvette plant was in St. Louis. I was blessed to be one of the last kids to get the tour. We were Boy Scouts, and I think it was Cub Scouts. We were so young, but
Okay.
the dads had the insight to know that we would think that was cool.
Yeah.
And it was cool.
Yeah.
And
I
then,
bet.
like a lot of things in St. Louis, Anheuser-Busch, the Corvette, things move on.
They do.
Things move on.
They
But
do.
it was a great experience. It was a great experience. So, can we talk a little bit more about the inside here, the dash?
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's move to that. And then you said this top comes off. Do you want to try to take it off? Or?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
All right, let's
it's
do
really
this.
kind of cool. There's 3 bolts that we need to remove, and
All
then
right.
it's just the latches pop right
You
off.
tell me where you want me.
Well, let me loosen the screws,
All right.
the bolts, and then we'll take it off.
Go for it. It's not terrible, though.
No, not bad at all.
Yeah, it seems very reasonable. Where do you put your hands?
I
Here?
usually go here and then over here.
And then like
I
here?
lift up the front
Uh-huh.
and then underneath the back,
Okay.
and then we just walk it back.
And where do you want to set this
You
piece?
just set it gently down on the asphalt here. It's fine, and then just lean that top down.
Yep.
Just like that.
Love it.
And, you know, this stuff it's really fascinating how they engineered all this stuff back in the day. And so when I gently pull this up, you'll see that it's like unbelievable, the condition of it.
Wow.
So then this folds back, and you'll see there's a plexiglass right here.
Yeah. You don't need to fold it back. That's fine. I don't want you. I mean, just seeing it in the condition that it's in is.
Yeah, I don't mess with it too much. So that just goes back down, and
wow, well engineered.
Yep.
This was the car in 1956.
You know, funny story.
Yeah.
I went to a car show a couple years ago. Pull in, park.
Yeah.
This older gentleman comes in, parks next to me. He walks right up to me, Chris, and he says, "I know that car." I said,
No way.
Yeah, he goes, "I grew up in Jennings."
All right.
He says, "Harold, there was a Bible study or something going on, and I was about 10, 11, and everybody, all of us knew that Harold had this Corvette. And I snuck out, and I went across the street, and I was peering through his garage window, and he busted me." This is right here.
That's awesome.
Right here in St. Charles.
That's awesome. It
was a hilarious story.
Oh.
So Harold, you know, I can't talk enough about him, but the car itself, I mean, right here you see there's mechanic notes. Adjust the lifters. So this is a solid lifter, solid cam.
Yeah.
So you have to adjust the lifters from time to time. And so there's mechanic notes here.
It's like this car is perfectly preserved in the Midwest because it's humid, so the rubber is okay.
Oh,
but
yeah,
it hasn't been out in the winter, so the rust hasn't gotten a hold of it yet.
Yeah.
This is amazing. Look at this thing. I love this door. And this is the door latch here.
Yeah. So this is the locking mechanism is here.
Cool.
This little guy here.
Cool.
That's how you open the door, and then of course you got the old school roll windows, right?
I had an old 57 car myself when the girls were little, and that's a whole nother story that I could go into. I haven't told you about, but
okay.
I had the little girls, three daughters. We drive them to soccer practice in this old car.
What car was it?
It was a 1957 220 Mercedes, and it was a four door. It looked like it looked like a boulder hat, you know. And anyway, it had these crank windows. And the girls, my daughters, thought that was an upgrade. They just thought, "Oh, look at this, so fancy!" And then, you know, the louvered windows on the corner. They just thought that was
so. For reference,
so
this would have been what, early 2000s?
Yeah, this was early 2000s. Yeah,
and
this
so
was probably 2010.
So they're used to the power window, and they thought the roll up was an upgrade.
Yeah. Oh, and another funny story. Like I'm assuming this is vinyl, and I had vinyl seats in the back, and it was a hot summer day. We were going to soccer practice, and I think my daughter was 8. Bless her heart, as they say in the South, you know.
Yeah.
She said, Dad, I don't think I feel so well. I'm like, what's wrong? She said, my legs, they're sweaty and they're sticking to the seat. And I just laughed out loud. I'm just like, oh, that's called vinyl, honey. That's called vinyl. So she didn't know what that was. And, you know, all of us that grew up from the 70s, definitely 70s and earlier.
Oh, yeah.
We know what it's like to stick to that super hot vinyl seat.
Absolutely. Or to just gently put your hand out.
You only do that maybe twice. Maybe twice.
That's incredible.
All right. Well, this is cool. Talk to me a little bit more about the interior real quick, since we got this open.
Sure. So it's I'll just sit here so I can show you with my fingers.
Do it.
So you got a speedometer right here in the middle.
Yep.
Okay, and then the ignition, and then you got a fuel gauge, temperature gauge. Right smack dab in the middle here is a tachometer.
Okay.
So this thing, you know, was designed to run.
That's the most important.
Yeah. And of course, next to that, you got a battery indicator,
okay,
making sure your charge is good, because this is an old generator. It's not an alternator.
Yeah.
And then, of course, here you got oil and oil pressure. And then here you got a clock, which still works.
What?
Yeah, it's amazing. And one of the other options that Harold got was called courtesy lights. So when you open the door, you may not be able to see with the daylight, but there's a light right there.
Oh, that just gives you enough.
Yeah, so at night,
Yeah.
when you open your door, you got a nice illuminated step.
See what's going on.
Yeah, so they really knew what they were doing when they designed these things. Of course, your heat is just simply a duct that you open up that allows
Yeah,
heat to come
engineer.
in. Yep.
Yep.
This thing here, you can't really see it with your camera, I don't think, but
Yeah,
there's a underneath the dash a little latch mechanism that opens up the quote-unquote air conditioning.
Cool.
It's just a hood
Air
vent.
conditioning. Well, you know, yeah.
Of course, you got windshield wipers and lights.
Speaker
Cigarette
there,
lighter,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is, the speaker. We don't actually have a speaker,
Right,
because
because
it's
it was
radio
a radio
delete.
delete. Yeah,
But if it had a radio, it
that's
would
where
be.
it would be.
Yep,
What a cool machine. This is not a cruising machine. This was a race car.
it was, and it still is. I mean,
Yeah.
one of the first times I drove it to a car show, I got caught in some traffic, and I was going real slow, and
Yeah.
this thing in first gear just wants to go.
Wants to go. It's geared
And
that
I
way.
actually flooded the thing out because it doesn't like idling. It doesn't like going slow. So it's a gem.
I love it. I love it. So this is amazing. It sounds like you were meant to have this car.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's an interesting crossroads of what I'm going to call faith
yeah.
and reality, right?
Sure.
So oftentimes that intersection we pass right by and we don't notice.
Yeah, we don't pay attention.
we
We're
don't-
so busy.
We don't pay attention, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I would say that this Corvette and the way that the car came about to be mine was ground shaking in terms of my faith. It was a moment in my life where things were going great, everything was going fine.
Yeah.
Yet I wasn't really paying attention. And this was almost like the ancestry tied to this car for me was similar to the biblical ancestry that we read about.
Yeah.
And it was a reckoning. It was a reckoning of my own conscience, of my own sin, of my own life, my own gratitude, and the grace of our Lord. And to go behind that even further, when I was a kid, I was 13 years old, my dad said, "What kind of car do you want? You're going to drive someday." I said, "Well, a 57 Chevy Red with a white top. It's got to be a Bel Air, no post, 283." So we, every day I'd ride my bike up to the up to the store, buy Auto Trader magazine, and flip through it.
Oh, yeah.
We'd go and check out cars.
Yeah.
So my point in saying that is that at a young age, for some unknown reason, boys always like cars, but I was locked into a 57 Chevy.
That's fair. Well, it's a beautiful car. and
Yeah.
It's Americana, and
So in 1985, my dad and I bought a 57 Chevy.
that's cool.
My uncle helped restore it. I drove it all through high school. Everybody knew me. It
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
a blessing and a curse.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And so you can imagine now, in my late 40s, I'm now in my 50s,
Yeah.
there was a reckoning. I still have the Bel Air. My
That's
father
cool.
passed away a long time ago.
Yeah.
So it's a memory of him. But this thing showed up, and now in my garage, I got a 56 Chevy from my grandfather and a 57 Chevy from my dad. And these are material things. But that intersection of faith and
Yeah.
reality is not blurred when it comes to this story, at least in my heart. It is clear to me that Jesus wrote this, and he blessed this story so that I could praise him. And I don't know what all that means. I kind
Yeah.
of make it up as I go.
Yeah.
But the serendipity that you mentioned about me being here today, happenstance going on a bike ride,
Yeah.
seeing these guys pulling over, meeting you, it's a foundation of faith that I just can't keep in. I just want to share it. And this car is a beacon of that to me.
That's a beautiful story, and I think so many people are afraid to kind of go deep and share that kind of stuff.
I
And-
totally agree.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. I mean, I kind of feel like I have no idea why I was drawn to you, but clearly, there's a reason.
Yeah.
And maybe I don't know God's purpose now, but
Yeah.
maybe it'll come to fruition at some other time.
And there's Paul, I think, said it. Or no, Jesus, you do not know what I do now, but someday you will understand. And the Holy Spirit draws these things together. The conviction I have on my heart with this car is amazing because a year after I bought the car,
Yeah.
my mother said, "Michael, I remember that car. We have a picture of that car in front of the dealership." And lo and behold, she found it. And it's my mom, 14 years old, sitting on the back dash. This is a convertible. The sales manager of the dealership is sitting next to her, and my aunt, who was 12 in the picture, is standing on the passenger side looking. It's a
Oh my
beautiful
gosh.
picture. It's incredible. But even that told me, from a spiritual standpoint, that this car was in my mother's possession
Yeah.
long before I bought it.
Yeah.
She was sitting in the vehicle in 1956 at 14 years old. This very car. So I
You just don't hear stories like this.
You don't.
This is
but,
awesome.
But if it's not him, I don't want it.
Yeah, there's,
right?
That's not a coincidence. This kind of represents a freedom that you can kind of only have in America to connect with something, to look at introspective in yourself, and just kind of soul search a bit and have a little therapy.
Yeah.
At least that's kind of how I got to where I called this channel The Driving Fix, because I just want to know, what is it about? What is it about the driving fix? People don't just get a fix on cars because it makes them feel cool. What's the story? And this is probably the best story that I think that I'll ever come across about why you're connected to cars and what it means to you.
It's interesting because for me, much like you, I'm not really a car guy.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, people go, what do you mean? You got a 56 and a 57. I'm like, yeah, I know. My buddy had a 69
Take
Camaro.
them or leave them.
Yeah,
Right.
my buddy had a 69 Camaro growing up. We were boys, right?
Yeah.
But you mentioned the driving fix. I used to drive in that 57 Chevy for hours.
Mm-hmm.
I had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
I had nothing
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
I just drove as a
Yes.
teenager, just
Yes.
to clear my head, just to hear from the
Yes.
Lord maybe. I don't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And all these years later, I crisscrossed the country, driving most of the way, all the time. My sister says I drive across the country like most people go to the grocery store, which is a true statement. But you connect it back to this.
Yeah.
I don't really drive this much. I mean, I drive it on pretty days.
Yes.
I don't want to put too many miles on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when I crank it up and when I start that engine and start driving,
yeah.
I feel something.
Yes.
And it's not material. The connection part's amazing. I mean, this has
Yeah.
opened so many doors to relationships. I mean, I've met so many great people because of this car.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's
I've
the
got
purpose,
great
yeah.
friends now
Yeah.
because of this car.
That's super cool.
Yeah. And it's
That's super
a
meaningful.
foundation that, I don't know what to do with it. I joke all the time, someday I'll be dead and it'll be somebody else's. That's a very true statement.
We'll all be dead. That's
yeah,
the thing,
Yeah. So I don't covet it, right?
Yeah.
I don't treasure it.
No.
It's not my idol.
Yes. But it's yours to preserve, take care of, and it's all about the relationships.
This is an opportunity for me to go to car shows and talk about something other than just cars. And it's profound. And I feel very humbled to even own it. I don't even know how I figured out how to buy it. Like I said, I don't even know how I found it. It found me.
Maybe God's using you, because I'll tell you what, I can't think of an American alive today that isn't attracted to this car. even if they're not a car nut, as you say.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what this car is, and so the chances that you'll be able to talk to more people are high.
Yeah.
Just because of the beauty of this car, and kind of
strange.
it's almost like a magnet that brings people in. I mean, heck, it brought me in.
It did.
And
It did.
I totally loved meeting you and hearing your testimony.
Thank you, Chris.
And it got me a little bit more soul searching about what's it all about. And I love cars, right? And I think a lot of people out there love cars. And I think folks that like cars maybe get judged for just being either gearheads, meatheads, or that they're kind of worshiping idols or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that's the case. I think in America in particular, cars like this one, they speak to people and they help us connect. And this one apparently keeps doing it generation after generation.
Yes.
So this is almost kind of like a magical car. I
It-
mean,
well-
I don't mean to be dramatic about it, but if I were to sum up our conversation, I would say your story, this car, and the magic that it has done for you, and I see it continuing to do good. So I really appreciate you sharing this story.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Yeah, yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
And thank you again.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike.
Good to meet you.
Yeah. Wonderful. Take care. Get out and get your driving fix.